homeopathy is not herbal medicine. It is not vitamins and supplements. It is not many forms of natural medicine. It's a very, very specific form of medicine that has a history of about 200 years. It was developed in Germany, invented really, or discovered is a more accurate term, by a physician at the end of the 18th century, and developed from that point on. It has its own special form of pharmacology and its own principles of cure, principles of potency, and has its own special way of diagnosing and treating people. Homeopathy originally, when Samuel Hahnemann, the discoverer of homeopathy, first started to use it, was really used mostly to treat very acute epidemic diseases. The first people he treated were actually suffering from scarlet fever. And he used it both to treat people who were actively experiencing scarlet fever and also used it as a prophylactic to prevent people from getting scarlet fever. He was very successful with that. And since that time, actually, it's been used a lot for epidemics. It was used, it became popular in the United States. The real spread of homeopathy in the United States was due to the fact that there were cholera epidemics in the 1830s, which had actually been brought over by immigrant populations. And they had been brought over from Europe. And it was fairly well untreatable in this country at that time, given the type of treatments available. Today it's antibiotics would oftentimes take care of it. But homeopathy had very, very powerful positive results. About 70% of the people treated with cholera were successfully cured, whereas the conventional practitioners at the time lost about 70% of their patients. And that's something that's actually quite easy to document. So it spread from that point on, and many physicians practicing in this country at the time converted to homeopathy from the various schools of medicine. There was no one unified school of medicine. What we think of as medicine today, conventional medicine, standardized treatment, standardized education didn't exist at the time. You know, surgeons were basically barbers, and some people were using American Indian medicines, and some people were using things they'd learned from.
So is this like in the late 1800s?
No, this is the 1830s.
Okay.
1830s or so that it came to this country. Originally, it was brought over by German immigrants in the Pennsylvania. What we think of as Pennsylvania Dutch was really Pennsylvania Deutsch territory. And so it was, Philadelphia was the traditional stronghold of homeopathy. And until recently, there was actually the Hahnemann Medical College. Hahnemann's the name of the founder of homeopathy. That college still exists, but only recently did they change the name. So homeopathy went through a tremendous growth spurt, and by the turn of the 20th century, there were over 20 medical colleges which taught homeopathy exclusively, and many, many hospitals were using homeopathy exclusively. University of Michigan Medical School, University of Boston Medical School, they were all homeopathic.
Really?
Yeah, medical schools.
Wow.
And that continued until starting in the 19-teens, really. Things started to switch around. There was a very well-known report called the Flexner Commission, and they decertified homeopathic colleges, and by the 1940s there were very few practitioners. But around 1900, that 1 in every 4 medical doctors in this country was a homeopath. But the interesting note is that the American Medical Association was created in the 1840s as a trade union to protect against the homeopaths, because
Yeah.
homeopaths were becoming so popular that they felt what was at that time called the old school practitioners, i.e. the people who were doing conventional medicine at the time, they felt a need to band together to fight against the homeopaths. And so there was, right from the beginning, there was a very strong sort of protectionist feeling to the AMA to protect their turf and to keep the homeopaths from taking over everything. So there's always that dynamic, which today continues.